loud. Let's see. Morning, Tommy. Morning, Adam. Double R. Cam G. Good evening. Lots of profit, hopefully. Alex, hi. So far, I mean, for the most part, overnight inventory, we can see pretty much 100% net short. Here's the settle up here. We did have a little bit of a liquidation. We have that non-farm payroll break level. This is the level that I have marked 3902. That's kind of where that break came from. Liquidated down pretty far. We got some short covering around this level yesterday. Remember, this 75 level yesterday was an untested level. They were able to get below it, but not for long here in the Globex session, and we're getting ready to open up here in about 8 minutes. So we'll see what they bring for us. Mostly I'm going to be having all eyes on this 75 level. If the market is opening, let's say where it is right now, you know, I'd like to see it test that 75 and hold as support. Should bring us back to value. Today, I do think that the most important thing is going to be watching this developing value as we see, you know, it is Friday. You know, there might not be a lot of movement. The volume is still relatively low, and we just got a little bit of a break. I didn't look at the non-farm payroll numbers, so I'm not sure if they were beat or miss. You know, I don't really think that information is really that important unless you're an economist and you're trying to plan for next month's non-farm payrolls. But we know that level is that 3902, and so that's really going to be the level where I want to get above and establish above and give me a little bit of confidence to go up here and test this this high here. We can see if we zoom this out a little bit, we still do have some single prints above. We got into them yesterday during L session, but weren't able to close them up here 39.18 half, 39.18 quarter. Morning Pop, morning Peter, morning Trin. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful Friday so far, and hopefully we can, you know, find some high quality trades today and be patient and get the ball rolling early. Oh, Poke already posted the stream. You're the man. Thank you. Remember, if we do get above this high from yesterday and close those single prints, there's, you know, decent odds that the market might just squeeze up into this previous gap up here, right? Pretty large gap, so I doubt that it gets it closed, but still good to make sure that you're tracking on your chart. We'll just kind of see how everything opens up. About 5 minutes. This is the time where you want to be getting ready for everything, preparing, writing down your last mental notes, getting ready for a nice small meditation session if you're into that before the market opens, just to center yourself and prepare for the day. A lot of big news coming out of crypto, and then there's also some news about Elon kind of maybe possibly backing out of that Twitter deal, or trying to figure out a way to get out of that Twitter deal. He might be legally locked in there. At least, you know, he knows he has to pay, I think it's $1 billion fine if he doesn't go through with the deal. But you know, when you've got $200 billion, $1 billion is still a lot. But you know, we'll see what happens with that. I do still have that sneaky suspicion that if he does, you know, pull the plug on that deal, and you know, I think it could be the black swan that could crash the market. So I'm definitely, you know, keeping my ears to the ground when it comes to that Twitter deal. Notice that overnight inventory wasn't able to get past the previous day's low, and when it did get down here, it kind of came back up to that 75 and then just stayed above it since then. So, that's kind of key to note. There wasn't enough supply to really break it down. It more was just a liquidation break. Really thin spot here on the profile from about 98 to 94. A really thin spot from around like 94, 95 area. But as we know, that's Globex. Kevin, good morning, man. My condolences, bro. That's a tough go. I want to look at the volume real quick. Volume 283,000. Yeah, that's a tough one. You've been doing the breath of fire technique. It's been getting you going better than coffee. That's awesome. Yeah, meditation, I mean, is such a powerful tool, and breathing is, such a key thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm just a huge believer in trying to keep yourself as stable as possible, especially while you're trading, because you're going to be under stress no matter what. If you can practice some of these techniques, it'll be good. Let's take a peek around the block real quick while we're waiting. That's at our high levels. Apple coming down a little bit, but still not below yesterday's low. We can see Microsoft broke yesterday's low. Pre-market's hanging out down below. Google down a little bit, but not below yesterday's low. Neither is Amazon. Tesla's still hanging out on the highs. Berkshire's on the highs. UNH still up. Same thing with Johnson & Johnson. Meta not below yesterday's highs. Visa, Nvidia had a decent pullback, but not below yesterday's lows. You can see XOM, so energy sector is getting some love for sure. You can see oil's back up at 104, 2% up so far. Most of the indices are down here, leading into the market open, but nothing really too crazy. Oops. "17 seconds. Round one. Ding, ding, ding. All right, here comes the open. What's that? Oh, I have the bells. I had the sound off. I always forget to turn it on. For some reason it auto defaults to off. Like turns my mic off and turns my desktop audio off. I'll make sure I turn it on for Monday.
We should make our own though, one that's unique for trade bits.
An opening bell? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it like what's the one that you wake up to when you're in the military?
Oh, what do we call that? We would do
Reveille.
Reveille, we'd have to do that every single day. You'd have to like turn at 6:30, turn and salute. You'd be like in the middle of formation and taking, you know, basically roll call, make sure everyone showed up to work, and then it would be like 6:30, and then the banner or the trumpet would start playing, and then you'd have to face the flag and salute. Yeah, we could do that. I could find like the link of it on online. So market just kind of bouncing around here. We did get a peak up above yesterday's point of control in the half back, but no real sustainment. I do think that the market is probably just going to remain choppy, you know, really until we get it back above this NFT break, or NFP break, excuse me. NFT break. Oops, or subject for a lot of people. But I'm really watching this 75. If the mark comes down to the 75-ish area and starts to hold, that's where I'd like to try a nice tight long from. We can see the breadth, right? A little bit negative, nothing too crazy. Down here, advanced decline negative. What's that, 540? The volts down here closely even. And the triple Q is on the rise here. Above the point of control, if we get established here, there's good opportunity to get an overnight inventory correction, as overnight inventory is pretty much 100% net short, and look for them to test back up here towards that settle, or towards that 3,900 psychological number there. Will cause taps is at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. Our last unit at the hospital, we didn't do it much. I think you might.
Taps is at the end of the day.
Yeah, this is what it sounds like here. And it's funny whenever you do a change of command or something like that, because during the reveille, the battalion commander's got to like power walk to the middle of the field so he can do the guide on exchange, and it's pretty funny. God forbid they change anything or just make the distance shorter. Like, well, we've always done it this way and never change it. So market's starting to catch a little bit of a bid here. You're seeing some sellers sell off yesterday's half back, and the point of control is pretty mechanical right there. Much above the 91, you could get some a stop run here. Here's that 91. Buyers need to get above the 91 to get the thing rolling. There it is. This open right here is the Globex open. That's what it's showing. The actual open is here. Putin, Russia's Putin, we see increase in oil and gas. It disappeared fast. Oil and gas constant in 10.7 million BPD in June.
I couldn't hear that one though. Would you play? I didn't play.
Oh, here, let me share the sound in Zoom too so you can hear it. Here, I'll play it again. Here we go. That's
Seems
it.
like a drum in the background or something. You know, some bass or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that would be nice. Put a little rhythm in it.
Find something. But play that song that you were working on. Nothing that.
Which one?
I don't know when you were putting together a while back.
Oh, I think it's on the laptop. I'd have to pull out the laptop. My rap song, you mean? That,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the Boys in the Hood one. Yeah, I'd have to. It's on the laptop. I will have to bust out the laptop. Wholesale
Yeah, I
inventories in 20 minutes. Good call out, Poke. Thank you.
think about 30-second piece of that or something.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
So, you know, I watched more about that. You know, those futures and stuff not closing. That's going to be a big deal. You know, the banks and the farmers are going to be getting fined every day. You know, if those contracts don't close in September, and they're going to be, you know, hugely short. They're saying that 70% of farmers, yes, 70% or 60% of farmers are more than 70% off from their contracted amount.
There's that,
And there's no import market. There's no importing or exporting food right now. None.
right? Yeah, I saw that. So there's that
So
break
they're
above the
weak,
91.
you know, and so they're
What are you saying, Kevin? Go ahead.
I was talking about those, you know, like wheat and grain stuff, the contracts that we're gonna have to close in September, but they're not having product, and so whoever has the physical product is gonna be able to sell for whatever. And there's people that are saying that food's gonna go 6 or 8 times in September, you know, six or eight x.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy that they're locking up
Because
canned food
you
and
know,
shit.
they're
That's
gonna say
just
whatever it's
wild.
worth. Oh, I know. Did you see? Isn't that crazy? I don't know where that was though, but that's pretty crazy.
So nice little move up here from the 91. They're going to be targeting that settle probably, or the 3900 first, nice round number, and then maybe the settle from yesterday to clean up this overnight inventory that's short. We may get a reaction off this overnight point of control, which is sitting pretty much right on the last, and then that NFT break, that 3902, back down to this weak spot in the profile, do a little backfilling, see if the buyers want to step up. Doesn't look like it. 92 doesn't rebuy, rebid. Right, could you take a look at Joby Aviation again, please? Do you think it looks like it could be accumulation. Joby Aviation, yeah. Let me pull up breadth is still red, but we do kind of have a mixed bag going on here. Information technology, financials barely green, healthcare is green, consumer discretionary. So our weighted sectors are green here. Just not a ton of volume. Yeah, I did see that EDF move. I did. It was a nice one. Yeah, so I mean, Joby just looks like it's in a little bit of a balance. The thing that's kind of making me nervous just looking at this is we got this move up and we're kind of squared off forming a P profile. So that just means market could have gotten too short coming up, correcting the inventory. You need to see some extension to really believe in it. This here's that 200 moving average. So, you know, above that hold, and we can see that the volume shelf, that's kind of the you know, I don't really say value area high because it doesn't really matter, but this volume shelf high here, that's of that upside. Market breaks above the last. Let's see if we can get above that NFT break. Yeah, that's a good call, James. And NDX and the SPX are about to fill the gap from the close. Having to get back up to that settle, that's going to fill that gap from the close. Depending upon how you look at gaps, right? You know, Jim looks at the gaps from the highs and the lows, and Peter Reznicek looks at the gaps from the settle. So it really just depends on kind of what you go after. Morning, Patrick. Some profit taking up here, though. Some weakness, not really a lot of new buying yet. Look at the NYSE, breaths flipped to green. We're starting to get a little bit of love here from the other sectors. Apple still red, Microsoft red, Google red, Amazon red, Tesla green, Meta red. Oil came down just a little bit, still about 1.5% up. Dow's flipped to green. Dollar is out flat as well. See the triple Q starting to climb here. Market really wants that open here. See if they can have it. Really thin spot here at the 93. So a lot of times what I like to do when I'm trading, even if, like I said, it's a single period, A lot of times I'll, mentally mark this. You don't necessarily need to mark it yourself, but mentally mark this, and I kind of treat this as single points, right? This is where the liquidation, so there's sellers that are probably short trapped right here. They got rushed out to the door. Now they're trying to sell higher, averaging in, right? Doing our Jared move, trying to average in, hoping that it gets back down below this level so they can start to cover and profit. If market isn't able to get back down below this level, then we can just kind of assume that these buyers are still being active, stepping up. Remember, the open is here, so they're stepping up above the open to push the market up if that's the case. And they fill that gap right there. Well, not really a gap, but you guys know what I mean. Weak spot. I like that. You like that, James? The Jared move. I wish he was on so he could hear. I don't know if he's in here. Let's see. Jared. Nah.
What, someone took the long at 3,900?
No, I mean, Jared just, I mean, the past like fucking 3 weeks, he's just had just the most crazy days ever because he's just been averaging in. I'm not a huge fan of averaging in. Like we were talking about the other day, someone posted on Twitter and I had seen and I kind of resonated with me. I always consider myself, a professional risk manager. When people ask me what I do, I say I manage risk for a living. Normally I just say I'm retired so I can get the look, and then I say I manage risk. But someone had posted that to be successful as a trader, you need to be a professional loss taker. And, that makes sense to me because, one thing you've got to be able to accept is you've got to be able to accept loss because it's going to be part of the journey. And you've got to be willing to accept it early. It's when the ego gets in the way, and that's what really starts to drive people mad. Oh, that's why it's doing that. Done. Okay, now I know how or why it's look like that. There we go. I fixed it. I was wondering why those were.
You know what it's when you say that you're a risk manager, that what you said, risk management?
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it because in the world of taking risks, you want to, like, it's like poker, it's like gambling, it's like betting. You want to lose small and win big. So you want to, if you're going to lose, you want to make sure that you're not overly exposed, and then when you're going to win, you want to make sure you expose it completely.
Right.
Probabilities.
And the thing is like if you were to end up trading on a actual trade desk, market's moving down here below the open, guys. So remember, we're looking for that 75-ish area to start acting as support if this thing gets down here. Seb, hope you're doing well, Brad. Definitely be mentally strong and have a very good risk reward before entering a trade. Thank you. Yeah, I am doing well. Glad to be on the East Coast. Makes my life a lot easier. But yeah, like, so when you're trading on a trade desk or like for a prop firm or for anybody really, that's where the capital that you're trading is not your capital. At the end of every day, you have to face the risk manager. So even if you traded positive for the day but traded like shit, they're not going to keep you on, right? Let's say you took, yesterday, I'll just use Jared as an example. He doesn't care. Yesterday he took $35,000 of heat to make $4,000. You know, that's not very good risk management, right? That's like I don't know where James is at to do my math for me, but you know, that's not a very good percentage of risk to reward. And so, you know, regardless of
8
it,
to 1.
yeah, -8 to 1. And so, and you know, they're not going to keep you on. They'll just let you go because they're not going to take that risk because they know eventually it's going to, you know, you're eventually when you fly close enough to the ground, your engine's going to touch and you're going to start to fucking just crash and burn. So it's just, I mean, I just couldn't handle that kind of emotional swings, to be honest with you. So we don't really hold that 75 level at all. And that's just a little bit of filling there, but we get it back above that 75 and get above that 78 here with some buying. I could see a decent opportunity here. And then remember, I could mark it on here too. I still am considering this area here. I'll just mark it for us. Single prints. I know, like I said, it's not technic. Oh fucking god damn it! Oh my god. I know, you know, technically it's not single prints, and it's, you know, kind of a newer way to. Oh jeez, what the fuck is going on? A newer way to, I guess, look at the profile. Here we go, above 78 here. We want to see it hold here on a back test of 75 and then get some buyers. I know it's not really a market profile textbook, but as we saw here, I just think that there is, especially when it's just 2 days ago, right? There is a short position down here, probably still holding on, hoping that they can get back down here and start to cover their short for break even. You know, not necessarily that it's a for sure thing, and like I said, it's not in the textbook. It's just something that I've been kind of noticing and something that I do pay attention to when I'm trading. Getting here below 1,000, but as we're making a low, and you can see those weighted sectors really turned over, and look at the breadth starting to pick up negative towards the red. We only have healthcare and consumer staples green right now. So it's a tough buy here at the 75, right? As much as I like the 75 level, the tougher level to get long when everything is kind of pointing against you. Dollar's still doing okay today as well. Yeah, double R, that is fucking wild risk. I know. Tell him every day, and he's like, well. I'm like, well. I wanted to look at the big tool. I don't want to cover the market up real quick while we're sitting here above 75 and getting some volume. Only 4 contracts straight on that low. Thin spot in the profile above. Re-offer level 86.75 maybe. 82. Okay. So we're looking at the Fed rate hike coming up. We want to look at the probabilities for the next meeting, which is on the 27th. Still pricing in 3/4. So that's basically just telling us that, the Fed is at least predicting that they're still going to, continue tightening the market. Little wash going on down here back and forth. There's a lot of scalpers down here. It looks like, maybe buying that 75 and selling that 76. Or maybe buying the 76 and selling the 77. Look at the breath is starting to pick up. This is my flip zone here. This is a level, the 75 level, excuse me, is a level I'd like to see these sellers really start to push below if they're going to continue to low side. Still about 2 minutes left in the session, so maybe some short covering before the next period opens up. Yeah. So 82 is his first reoffer level. A little bit of selling there. Another thing to note too, we do have earnings next week coming up, so that's yeah, that's gonna, I know July is typically like the worst or the second worst month in the stock market, and mostly because all the liquidity disappears and we kind of just drift down during the summer, right? But I think that we might get a little bit of a bounce during earnings, and that could give us the pop, and then everyone will flip from as bearish as they are right now about the whole world going down, and then once they flip bullish again, that's when Elon will announce that he's not buying Twitter, and the fucking market will just die. What'd you say, Kevin?
When the earnings come out?
There's a bunch of earnings. Let me pull up a calendar real quick. Let's see. Where's the earnings calendar? Oh, excuse me. So on Monday we have I guess they're in alphabetical order. Monday, really nothing too crazy. Let's see, Tuesday. Tuesday, we've got Pepsi reporting. Wednesday. The tech, or yeah, Wednesday has Delta. And then Thursday, JP Morgan, First Republic Bank, some financials. And then next Friday, Morgan Stanley is also on Thursday. And then Friday has BlackRock, Wells Fargo, Citibank, UNH. So there's a big one. Those are all before the open. So next week really is like kind of the kickoff for earnings. Numbers good for the dollar. $1.8 month over month. Volume in that first period was 20% less than the previous day as well. A little bit of absorption here on the 78. They're trying to reoffer this level again. Most of the trades today are pretty weak though. A little bit of buying stepping up right here. 38.76 to 77 is decent buy orders, or at least some decent orders coming up to lift the offer. Do you think it's equally important to not overreact to your big winners just as much as your big losing trades, or do you celebrate your wins in any way? No, not really. Most of the time, if I have a nice big win, I just take a picture of it and send it to James, and he says, "Good boy." And then I'm like, wag my tail and I'm just happy. That's it. Doesn't take much. But no, I don't go like, fucking out to lobster dinner or anything like that. Just, I just look at it as like, I'm here to, make it so I don't have to fucking go to work ever again, and that's it. But, I do, I analyze my winning days, just as deeply as I do as my losing days. I have like a self-reflection sheet at the end of the day. Where's it's my other folder. What's up, buddy? SWORD. SWORD. So every day I'll ask myself 10 or 11 questions. Was there a correction to overnight inventory and did I play it correctly? Yeah, I send James my my losers as well. But that's I'm like fucking what's his face? Leo. Don't judge me by my winners, judge me by my losers, because there are so few. No, I'm just kidding. Total for the day. I lose trades throughout the day all the time. It's just a matter of the end of the day. Another thing I always ask myself, did I focus on value, right? I'm always big hyper on value. Right now we have value overlapping to lower, developing lower, one time framing lower. Does he send me to my kennel, my tail between my legs? No, I don't have a kennel. I'm a free range dog. Another thing, did I understand what the competition was doing, right? Did I understand what was going on? Kind of like the first 2 days this week, we had kind of seen, you know, them just slowly trapping inventory, letting late momentum traders get too short before the correction yesterday, right? As we saw from that 75, these sellers really wanted the market to go down, just trying to call the top, and they ended up getting trapped. Another thing, how was the tempo, and did anything stand out, right? Did was the market choppy? Did we trend in one direction? What did we get some one time framing? Did every time we got a back tick, we got two upticks, things like that? How was the structure? All right, a lot of times I like to look at structure. Right now, we're forming out or carving out some support here on that 38.75, which is what I like, because that's basically what I was waiting for today. So how's the structure looking? Another thing I always ask myself, did I go looking for a trade, right? How long after I got on the computer did I get in a trade? Did I force my way in a trade? Was I patient enough to wait for that trade to come down to that 75? I'm just using today as an example. Did I wait for that 75 to come down and build some support and take some longs, things like that? On kind of that same topic, did I let the trade come to me, and was I patient? Those are two key things, and these are things that I self-reflect on every single day, right? I definitely recommend journaling about them, writing them down. I think one of the better journalers, even though he's fairly new, my dad has his journal really keeps him on task. It's just one thing that he's always been kind of good at, was keeping a journal. And that might be from certain things that have happened in his past. Did I lose emotional control, right? Was I trying to decide, oh, this is the bottom? Did I tell myself this is the bottom, convince myself, and just get frustrated? Did I lose a trade and then just start fucking rampage trading or over trading? Was I, if you're tracking your heart rate, if you got like a watch that tracks your heart rate, or if you can just feel your heart start to race, things like that. These are some things that I've pulled over from other things. Like when you're playing poker, if you can't keep your emotions in check, you're just not going to be successful long term, and you're probably going to give away a lot of tells. Was I? What's that, Kevin?
Did you say was a good journalist?
My dad.
Does a good. Oh,
Yeah, he's good. Was I able to think in odds and probabilities, right? Was I just out here just trying to, scalp ticks, or was I, playing the odds, right? So like the odds here, I'm long from 75, and I'm, closed some at the 82. We pulled back, added again at 75, and I'm still looking for that 87.90 level, to cash out, right? Tommy Martinez, thanks, bro. Thanks for the like. Welcome back. So odds and probabilities are key. And then the last question I always ask myself is, and this is coming at the end of the day, right? So this is a self-reflection after the market has already closed, and you're only going to know how you were feeling is if you're journaling throughout the day. Like I said, there's a couple ways that you can accomplish these things, right? Keep a paper journal, or like I recommend, I write everything down in good notes and just date it, and then it's just online, so it's just I just write it on the iPad. It makes it about 1,000 times easier. But what was the message from the market today, right? And that's where you kind of develop, and that goes in, that kind of leads you into the plan from. Hey, watch your computer. That kind of leads you into the plan leading into the next trading session, right? You're talking about value. Was value overlapping to higher? What information do we need to carry forward? Do we have any, references like we talked about? If you guys checked out the trade view this morning, I had talked about all these mechanical references that were left behind yesterday at this E low, this I low, this K low, right? mechanical references left behind, just showing that, you know, these are shorter term time frame traders that were in control yesterday, right? And there wasn't really any big players in the market yesterday. That's why we had that kind of slow grind to the upside. And these become, you know, information that you want to carry forward. If you want to mark them on your chart, you know, definitely go ahead. I just am not huge on having very many lines on my chart, except for the halfback, the last, and the settle. And then today we had the NFT break, so I had marked that as well. Value and excess and balance, right? Those are always key things. That's why I started including them all into the trade view every day, at least the rules for balance and spikes and all that. You know, these are just things that for me are key to do every single day, right? Just to keep me on track. And a lot of times, I think that journaling will help us be patient, right? If you it's an NFP break, my bad, Kevin. It was from the non-farm payrolls. That's where the break happened from during the pre-market. So the non-farm payrolls numbers came out. I don't know what they were, but that's where the kind of impulse down the liquidation started from. Yeah, if you're journaling after every trade, you know, one, you're going to have more accurate information. You know, I know my dad tracks the times he trades, you know, broken down in half-hour periods. He tracks the time of day, right? Whether he trades, you know, better at night, better in the morning, what session he trades better in, what he trades long and short. You know, these are all good things that you should be writing down as you're starting, so you can really understand yourself, right? So let's say you trade really well in A period and B period, and then typically C, D period, you give some back. Well, you've got to dig down into why you're giving some back here. I'm gonna take a little bit off here at this open. I got 2 lots left, and I'm looking to get above that 90. You know, but the halfback on my chart is from the previous day, I think. Yeah, I should be. Yeah. Previous cash session. But, you know, these are all just, you know, things that need to happen that are, it's, you know, tedious, but can help you maintain perspective and keep you patient. And really, for me, especially early on, you know, patience was probably my biggest adversary, is because I was so interested in having a $5,000 day or a $10,000 day that I was just focused on putting on a million lots and trying to catch every move instead of just trading my plan, right? And I went from trading, you know, 100 150 lots, and this is over a few years, you know, trading 100 150 lots and having really good days, really bad days, and then, you know, trading 10 15 20 lots, and, you know, having similar size rewards for, you know, a quarter of the work. Exactly what I meant by mentally strong. Once wiped out account revenge trading to make the loss back. Yeah, that happens all the time. Watch a documentary about Jesse Livermore, and that's what he used to do. One of the best traders ever. I'd have to look him up. I'm not sure who that is. I did find this yesterday. Let me show you guys this. Where's YouTube at? Okay, so if you go to YouTube and type in MIT economics, remember how I was talking about I wanted to take an economics class, but I didn't want to take any of the other bullshit classes? Well, here it is. We can just erase this, but you have every lesson. This is a psychology and economics, spring 2020 MIT, and there is 23 lessons in here. They're all about an hour-ish long, but you know, definitely something I would go to look for. You know what I mean? I just found these yesterday, so I haven't got a chance really to dig into them, but I'm gonna you know, probably watch them this weekend. And you know, they're free. It's YouTube, so it's dope. Thanks, TJ. Yeah, it's working out pretty good so far. I do want to just caution, you know, when you read economics or learn about economics, you know, I'm a big believer that economists don't really know shit about trading. So it's going to be a different thing. Yeah, Peter, let me put that link in here. Let me pull it back up. Yeah, there's one on the principle of microeconomics, and that's from fall 2018, and that's 26 lessons. And then there's another one, Introduction to Psychology and economics. That's here. And I'll post it in the YouTube as well. If we don't start to get a pop soon, I think I'm just gonna flatten this thing. We're getting above the VWAP and buyers are kind of struggling here. But sellers don't really look to be out in full. Next reoffer level above here or above that half back would probably be 95 maybe. Does Discord really slow your computer down? If you're running it while you're trading and stuff, it can, yeah, because it runs the JavaScript. That's what my uncle was saying, like that, and Thinkorswim can really like bog down your computer because they're so fucking slow, or whatever their I think it's Java. I think that's what he said. Can just cause the computer to be a little bit slower. I can send him a text and ask him. I don't think he's in here. He's in the process of moving to Frisco. He's moving to Dallas, so, or well, Dallas area, Frisco, Texas. I don't know how active he is or how much on the computer he is. Mechanical high, kind of that half back, that B half. He looks pretty mechanical to me. Still liking the upside here. Got my stop moved up to 85 at this point, so I'm just gonna let this thing try to ride up.
You're in trade right now?
I am, yeah. I only have one lot left on though. I covered most of it because I was being a little bitch.
Where'd you get in at?
I got in at 75 twice. Well, a couple of times, 75, and then covered at 82, and then back tested 75, got in again, and then covered most at the open, and then about to get back ticked here. Stop at 85 half now. Connection lost. James is dealing with some technical difficulties this morning. That's annoying.
Is your internet just as good over there?
I'm actually on Wi-Fi right now. I'm at my in-laws' house. But yeah, my father-in-law upgraded the internet to the Comcast offers like 1200 megabytes. So he upgraded that for me for while I'm here.
100?
1200?
Wow.
We haven't had any issues so far, so knock on wood. Mark, you said, my computer was doing fine for a while, and then I could use TradingView and Bybit at the same time, and then now Bybit is lagging super hard. The only thing I'm doing different is running Discord. Yeah, Bybit is lagging. Yesterday when I was on Bybit, it was lagging. But those three, I mean, Bybit
Yeah,
itself is
Bybit,
just... Oh, hang on one second. I'm getting a phone call. Hello? Hey. Oh, okay, nice. That was quick. Oh, good. No fits. I said no fits. Oh, good. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. It's going well. Nice trade, early at 10. Oh, it's like a 12-point trade now. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Pathfinder 2.0. Yeah, I'll take a coffee. I said Pathfinder 2.0. Yeah. I'm just getting another one. I have to drive back to California to get it from my dad, though. Yeah, I'll take an iced coffee. Yeah. Curtis. Curtis. He's got his headphones on, so he's not gonna answer. He's watching his computer. He asked me if he could watch funny cat videos. So he could be lost for a while. I said he could be lost for a while, so yeah. Okay. Alright, see you in a bit. Love you too. Bye. Sorry about that, guys. What were you saying, Kevin? Sorry.
on Bybit, who's having trade Bybit flagging?
Yeah, Mark Elliott was saying that he's having some issues with it.
On the bottom, very bottom right hand corner, you think it says routing. It's got like a 1, 2, and 3 for an auto. And you can change that routing, and it'll change your. I don't know exactly what it changes, but it fixes your lag most of the time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, Mark, so I don't know if you heard Kevin, he said if you go in the bottom right hand corner on Bybit and there's a button that says routing, change that and it should clean that up. Yeah, double R. My in-laws are cool, man. They're cool. Weighted going back to positive. Getting back above this 0 level. Triple Q's coming up a little bit. Apple's flipped back to green. Tesla's leading us up here. Meta's still getting smacked, and Microsoft's lagging back behind for some reason. Not sure why though. Decent little move here. Should have kept on some more size. Got my stop up at the 38, 90, 50 now, back on half back. So four minutes until the next period opens up. Yeah, we got a new car, the Nissan Pathfinder, the new 2022 one. Really, really nice for my wife. We got it, and you know, I kind of want my own now. I drove it across the country, and it's just. Let's see if they can get back above this NFT break. Like to see them hold that hold above that level so we can get some more continuation. $363 lots sitting on the OO here.
Yeah, that new Pathfinder is pretty sweet.
I'm flat now. I just closed that last trade. I don't have anything on now, so I'll be wait. Yeah, the new Pathfinder, it's nice, man. The only thing, though, my only complaint about it is if you sit in the passenger seat of the Nissan Pathfinder, it doesn't have height adjustment. So even me, I'm not very tall, but you just sit low, you just feel like a little kid. And for me, it makes me car sick sitting in the passenger seat because it does sit so low. I just get car sick. Um, so CPI news is next week on Wednesday, Mark. We had the non-farm payrolls come out this morning, and that's kind of where we're breaking is this non-farm payroll breaking above here. Like I said, I flattened my long trade here. We'll see what happens. You know, I could be early. Yeah, there we go. You know, you can't capture it all. Bitch. 2 minutes until the next period opens up. So we can see that B period took the low of A and the high of A. Yeah, that's a good call, James. We got these singles up here. Remember, these single prints can act as excess, so we'll use this L high up to these single prints up here, and this could act as resistance up here, right? Excess can oftentimes act as resistance or support if you're above it. You can see the triple Q is really beaming up, but coming back up to that 295 level where we saw the sell-off from earlier during the triple Q when those non-farms came out. So you know, we got a minute left. Just be patient and let this next period open up, and let's see what C period does. As of right now, if C period opened up here, we'd be opening up with some single prints in the B period. So give us a little bit more information, or a little bit easier way to play, but we'll see what happens. It does look like some profit taking up there on the 3906. Some really weak spot right here on the 3903. Didn't look like anything traded on the bid. $444 lots sitting on the 3.5. The triple Q is like the NASDAQ, Kevin. It's like the same. It's just an ETF that tracks the NASDAQ. It's just that I can't get, so like if I switch this to the futures, so if I switch this to the NASDAQ here, I don't get those gamma levels on the NASDAQ because of how they're 24-hour traded. So I just use the triple Q. Oops. So yeah, I just use the triple Q. It just makes your life easier.
But is it tracking a certain sector or what's it tracking?
It's checking the NASDAQ. Yeah, so like if so C period opens up with some singles. I'm gonna open this up real quick so we can check out the market watch. So if we look at the NASDAQ 100, it's tracking these stocks right here. That's what the triple Q is checking. So C low seems to be mechanical, but those are single principal lowest. We're back above that NFT break, and I'm sure there was a bunch of people that are trapped short. A break above yesterday's high or even the Globex high should get us a nice little stop run up to that 14 quarter, and then we'll be looking to test into that 1850, which is where that the single prints end. Greg, do I share trade entries? I talk about where I'm looking to get in. I don't necessarily say I'm long or I'm short or anything like that. I just don't think that's beneficial for anybody. You know, it's just not my style really, and not really the point. No one getting short on a Friday except Jared. I wonder if he is short. Let me text him. Yeah, not signals, Kevin. Yeah, it's not really. It's just not really beneficial. And it's funny because like one time my dad texted me and he said when he was struggling when he was starting, he was saying, it would be really cool if you could just text me when you get into a trade. And I told him no. and like it's not beneficial, like if that was the case, why don't you just give me your money and I'll just trade it at that point and I'll just take a piece of the pie. But yeah, it's just not something I don't really like, that kind of stress, you know what I mean? I try to live as stress free as possible, which is why I decided to make this stuff free. And I don't really, maybe I don't know, maybe years in the future I might take some outside money on, but I don't know, just makes it a little bit more stressful, and for me that's just not beneficial. I did place fifth in a satellite tournament last night, which gets me a buy-in to the Sunday night. What's this tournament called? The Sunday night. Where's it at? Online poker is legal in Pennsylvania, so it is called the Sunday Special. Could you explain again what you look for with the single prints in the scenario? So for here, I'm not looking to get into anything just because of that C low. I think it is, just really mechanical. If we do get an extension up above that previous day's high during the C period, then I'll look to be back testing here. You can see the volume and in between the settle. But I think that they probably clean this up. One thing that we do want to be aware of is if they do clean this C low up, but they aren't able to close these singles or really aren't able to get back below this NFT break, once we get back above the settle, that's where I'll be looking to get long, and I'll be targeting, the close of these these singles, right? We might just keep going up, and I might not get an opportunity to enter. But for me, with how the volume is and how everything's been going this week, I've been really only trading pullbacks. I haven't been a big truster in breakouts. There has been some decent breakouts this week, right? But it's just not really anything that I've been participating in. Just trying to stay as patient as possible. But really, you're just looking to see. So if you imagine all these people were short during A and B period, right? Shorting from below this NFT break. And then when we got above, you started, bigger money started to liquidate. And so they were short and they just start buying. And when there's only so many people selling and they're trying to buy their position back, that's what causes these single prints to run up, and they can't fill them. Mechanical buyers were stepped up on the settle and able to push this thing up, and there we go, right? So that's a trade that I definitely am missing here. But to me, I'm not really concerned about missing that. It's just happens. That's just how it goes. Yeah, and you're right, Kevin. Like by the time I announce it or like hype it into somewhere or something like that, it's probably late. And then it's a lot of times like I see stuff on Twitter and they'll be like, oh, I traded this much today, and then they'll say thank you to whatever service they're subscribed to. And even that I'm not really a huge fan of, because even if I were to give you guys a perfect trade or a trade that works, right, it's not me that's executing the trade, it's you. So really the credit doesn't need to come back to me, the credit needs to go to you, and you need to be able to like self resonate with that and say like, oh, maybe Brad had identified an opportunity that I wasn't keen on, but once I identified the opportunity as well, it was me that traded it. And so that's one thing that I'm a big believer in, is giving that credit, right? Yeah, I don't mind showing you guys the door, but when you walk through the door, you got to give yourself that credit, because that's what it takes. And if you don't give yourself credit, I think it's going to become extremely difficult to keep growing. 39.10 3/4, 39.1075 here. If these sellers don't get back below, we'll probably just keep pushing back up. A little bit of absorption here, but it looks like buy stops are up here. Alex, that's true. Like for me, it is like, it does, it gives me monetary joy, I guess, when I trade successfully, because I got bills to pay and shit, and so it makes me not have to worry about things. But it does, when I see other people doing well, that's I take like, I take pride in that stuff, um but I also make sure that they do well. And it's probably something from the army. Sometimes in the army you have soldiers that are just, they're just natural winners. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have a soldier that just can fucking run fast, he's really strong, he can ruck march, can shoot well, he's really good at land nav, just like an overall, I call them heroes. And sometimes you get them in your platoon, and then there's always competitions in the military, and a lot of times these soldiers do well, and you have these platoon sergeants or first sergeants sometimes, or squad leaders that'll say, yeah, that's my soldier, blah 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 blah, I taught him everything he knows, blah 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 blah. And maybe you did teach him a lot of the things that made him successful in whatever competition he was competing in, but it was still him competing. It's just it's more rewarding for me to see one of my soldiers succeed, than to just be like, oh, it's because of me, you know. And a lot of times in my experience, because I used to be one of those heroes, most of the time my leaders didn't do shit except for just reap the rewards and take my fucking medals. But I did steal them back from battalion before I left El Paso. And I don't know if I'd say steal, I'd say tactically acquired, because they had my fucking name on them. So technically they're mine. And now they're definitely mine because possession's 9/10. So, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know, I don't know. I just always feel like I can learn from anybody. So there's no like, I don't look at it as like a peer subordinate type situation. If you develop a strong relationship with someone and you are their superior and you tell them to do something, regardless of if they're your friend or not your friend, you know, they should act accordingly. It's not necessarily they're listening to you because you're their boss. They're listening to you because they respect you. And that's how I've always wanted to live my life, right? You know, and that stems from you know, probably from childhood, because that's how my dad taught me, and that's how I teach my kids. You know, I don't tell them like, oh, you're cleaning your room because I fucking said so. You're cleaning your room because that's part of life. You've got to keep a tidy room. You've got to keep a tidy life, or else you're going to be a fucking unorganized mess, and you wonder why you know, not getting a manager's position at McDonald's. Well, it's because you can't keep the fucking fries from burning every so often. Simple things like that. Simple things like when you're trading and you accidentally trade on the wrong account, right? That's a mistake after a while, you know, you should not be making, you know, especially after a couple of months. That should not happen. And if it is if it is happening, that's an inward look that you need to figure out. And I've always been big on psychology too. You know, I've always tried to understand people and why they do the things that they do, which has helped me and hurt me, because I've always given people benefit of the doubt, or whatever that expression is, you know what I mean? Like, benefit of the doubt. Like, someone's a piece of shit, I'm like, well, you know, maybe they're a piece of shit because their parents are pieces of shit and they don't know how to be anything else but a piece of shit. So maybe they just need a fucking, you know, strong handshake and a smile and a little bit of motivation. You never know. James said, keep an eye on the YM. If it holds a high, it broke yesterday's, but if it doesn't hold, then might go down, even if the NQ was leading, since it didn't break yesterday's high yet. Yeah, that's a good point. And we're not getting a really strong breath up here. Remember when we were at the lows, there was a lot of people, I mean, the breath kind of flipped pretty quick, right? Got red. It was about 4-1 on the NYSE. So you got a lot of people that were trapped short down there, or at least started to get short, and no real follow through. So up here, we're not really seeing too much initiated buying above yesterday's value area yet. We kind of have a poor high as well, coming right up to yesterday's high. Yeah, benefit of the doubt is so powerful, you know, and that's one thing, like, for me, especially when I meet a lot of people, if I'm wearing like a sweatshirt or a long sleeve shirt or whatever it is, and I see them a lot of times, you know, early on, and they haven't seen all the tattoos I have, and then, you know, randomly they'll see all my tattoos and they're like, oh shit, like, oh, I never would have guessed, you know. And that's just, you know, that it's like there's a book that I read. Let me go in my library real quick. That I really enjoyed reading, and it was called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. You know, it was just you know, so strong. And then, you know, I actually got a message the other day from a buddy of mine who's in the army, who was on recruiting duty with me, Puerto Rican guy. And not that it has anything to do with the story, I guess, but I always just remind him that he's Puerto Rican. But, you know, he he was terrible at recruiting. He just wasn't good, you know, and it's hard in California. You know, unfortunately, um, if you're not from California, it becomes hard to recruit in California. Let's just say that. And he just he just struggled, right? But he had potential, and he was a great soldier. He was really good at everything else that he did in the army. He was a mechanic, but he just wasn't good at recruiting. And it's not everybody is, right? Not everybody's good at everything. And so, you know, I kind of convinced him to retake his ASVAB, which is a test that we take to get in the military so he could raise his score so he could apply for what's called warrant officer. And he did. He studied. He raised his score. He passed, and he recently just graduated from warrant officer school, and he's now a chief, is what they call him. And he sent me a message. He's in Korea, and he said, "Hey Brad, you were my cornerstone at the job. I definitely desperately needed guidance, and I was such a dumbass for not getting it earlier from you because I was too stubborn and too proud. Humility is key in life, just as it is in appreciating great human beings in the circles such as yourself, my brother. Gracias, mi hermano." And then he said, "And I'm forever grateful to you. You literally have no clue how much I appreciate you. For example, sometimes I'll be at work trying to figure shit out, and all I have to do is ask myself, what would Haven do? And boom, the BS stops haunting my decision making." You know, so it's just, those are the kind of things really to me that makes you know, makes the effort that I put into people worth it. You know what I mean? I don't need money, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't need it. So and I actually kind of don't like it. I don't really like the way that money is so important, but you know, just the things like that really just make it worth it for me. You know, and I love to see people succeed. It's just, you know, my friend Rod, he just never had anybody tell him he could do anything his whole life. He had people tell him that he couldn't do stuff, which is why he did so well in the military. And then in recruiting, you know, regardless of if, you know, it's kind of like trading, right? You could want it really bad, but it just, you know, it might not be for you. And that's just something that you might have to realize at some point. Like the Walmart greeter that tries to stop you. Yeah, I just walk right past that motherfucker because he's a bitch. In my opinion, the best recruiter talks people out of entering. um, when I was a recruiter, I never really try to convince anybody to join. I always wanted it to be their decision. I always wanted them to convince themselves. And you know, it's a life-changing event getting into something like that. You know, if I'm rambling too much, guys, just let me know. But you know, it's a life-changing event because you're getting into something that you have no idea that if you're gonna like. And when it's in the military, you don't have a choice, right? You sign up for 2, 3, 4 years. Well, guess what? That's just fucking how it goes. You know, you're stuck, right? Unless you want to get dishonorable discharge and get all your shit taken away. I do always ramble. Yeah, I'm a chatty Cathy. But you know, you're stuck at that point. And so at least if I can, you know, assist these people to see the benefits and the opportunities that the military has provided me and help them understand that 20 years is really just not a long time. And if you can just serve 20 years, you can get a paycheck for the rest of your life and health benefits. And then if you have a family, you get a lot of benefits for your family. You know, it just becomes, to me, the easiest job in the world, if I'm being honest. Hey, buddy. How's the doctors? Bad? Okay. Intelligent rambling. Yeah, I just like to, you know, get the brain wheels turning. As Kanye said, money's not everything, but having it is. It can definitely be life-changing, that's for sure. It just, yeah, it does provide opportunity, but I think when you focus on, I think that, and I don't, this seems like a thought that I've read before or something like that, so not really an original thought, but I think that if you're focused on making money, that you probably never will, right? Because that's a short-term goal, right? Making money, I mean, for me, my whole life has been easy. When I was a kid, my neighbor used to let me borrow his fucking lawnmower when I was at my mom's house, and I'd push that fucker around the whole neighborhood and mow lawns. And then when I was at my dad's house, I'd use my dad's lawnmower, and I'd push that shit around the neighborhood and mow lawns, because I wanted money, right? But that wasn't the goal. The goal wasn't just to make a dollar. The goal was because I wanted something else, but I needed that money to get there. And so I wasn't really focused on that goal. I was just focused on, I understand that this is what it takes to get to where I want to be. And I mean, it's like, beating my dad at 21 took me 17 years to beat him at 21. And, it's not like he was able to practice all the time. He was working all the time. I was a kid, didn't have shit going on, and so I'd get out of school or even during summer, and I'd just sit out there and fucking shoot, dribble, layup, shoot, dribble, all this stuff. And then finally, 17 years later, there it was. Little buy stops coming out here, guys. Big buy order coming in, 3905, 200 lots. Thank you. Okay. Is it warm enough to swim today? Okay, nice. Clink, 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 clink. Coffee. So there you go. You get that cleanup of the settle. We get back above that C open. And we want to see if they're going to hold here. A little bit of short covering. Like I said, I think that was a little bit of short covering. Well, I want to see it. I'd like to see it hold up above that 3908 really to get some continuation. Our offer level here is the four quarter 5 or 475 and the 5 sellers came in. There they go. They can't break that NFT break. We leave a couple single prints down below, and now we're off. Now we want to see right here. So if we're long here, we want to see if we can get above that 8 and hold. If not, and if we can't get above that 8 and hold, then we know that we need to cover. Really the 5 as well too. This 5 is an offer spot, but it looks like the 8 might be target if these buyers can step up here. Sellers are moving down here though. Trying to at least. 5 minutes left in C period. Come on. I have to buy this thing up on myself here. So as it gets close up to this 8, right, we want to see it pop the 8. I'd like to see it pop the 8 above this B high, because that's where I think these people tried to short from, was from that B high. So I'd like to see it pop that 8 and hold above, and then, it'll convince me to stay in the trade. If not, I'm just going to flatten quick and then you know, just be patient, wait for another one to come on. There's nothing wrong. Like I will take one tick all day. Like if that's all that's given, you know what I mean? I've traded so many day ranges where the range is, you know, 15, 20 point range for the whole day. And so, you know, sometimes $12 is all they'll give you. Or if you're trading the MES, you know, sometimes $1.25 is all you can get. All right, here we go. Here's the 8. We want to see a nice little pop here. This B high. Come on. We want to this, and that pop will just signify that these buyers are stepping in and sellers are stepping out. Wait till we get right to that B high and then right above it. That's what I'm looking for. If we can't get it though, you know, finger on the close. Get ready just to be fine with getting out, but it's looking pretty decent here. They're trying to reoffer here, these sellers. Fuckers. Come on. So, pop us. Pop. Pop. So notice we're just up tick, down tick, up tick, down tick. We want to see a nice little pop here. We haven't seen any profit taken yet. Sellers are still trying to sell that B high again because they're fucking dense. I'm still holding, but fingers on the flat here. We're not making any real move here, but come on. There we go. There's our pop. Stop loss moved up right below the 8. And we're going to target that 18 here. Ooh, what the fuck was that? Oh, we're still good. We're still good. Just a little backfilling there on the 10. That's fine. Top is right below that C half back. Still looking for that 18 here. Three seconds until D period opens up, so be careful here, guys. See if we get some continuation. Single prints are still open. Look at the breadth picking up a little bit here, 2 to 1. Put in a little weak high. We do have a weak high compared from yesterday's as well here too. So get some continuation. Ed Williams is on right now as well. Oof, in by the skin of my teeth still. Oh man, that was close. That was a close one. Get some deodorant out after that. My sub's up at 17. Um, I might try to just front run these orders at 17 and just cover there instead of waiting for 18. Not enough buying to take us over that yesterday's high. Not yet. There we go. Shorts cover there. Starting to see some offers slowly move down and start to try to smother this price here. Patience gets you paid. Yeah, that was from Bearish Bull too. That was a great one. I really like that. I'm about to get that tatted actually. Patience gets you paid. I really like it as well. Above the 13, we should see a nice little stop run. It looks like that's where the seller might be sitting at, and he might He might switch over if we get above there, 13. Ah. My stop is at 8/4, so I'm still just hanging in there barely. Barely. Get matching tats? Hell yeah. Let me look at the volume quick. Still about, we started off about 18% less, and we're about 12% less now. So, gotta clean the seller at 1275. Yeah, I think so. Above this, let me zoom this out a bit quick here. If the market, were to be able to get that break above these singles, there's really not much resistance up here until we start to get into that gap. So there could be a decent move, and it is Friday too. And if that high does get broken, you'll probably see a lot of capitulation from the people that are still trapped in down here from this T2 low and or T2 range, and then they'll just call it a week and be like, well, guess I'll try again next week. I'll put it right next to your face tat I got. Is that weird? No, I think it's good. Yeah, that's the best pop, especially when you get into a trade that starts to win right away, and then you can just fucking move your stop up to break even and just close your eyes, I mean, not close your eyes, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just, the emotions slow down. You're like, okay, I can breathe, I can pay attention. Morning, Otto. Just in time to close some singles for us. Go ahead and smack that buy button real quick. I'm just kidding. The breath is chilling a little bit here. There we go. So there's that seller get cleaned up. Right here at this 17, this is where I'm going to be looking to cover almost everything, because I think that they're going to front run this high here. One lot left. That's it. Stops at 12. They fill the singles. So let's see if we get some capitulation from these T2 sellers. We've got room all the way up to like the 49, which is where that gap is at. Yeah, I'm not even gonna be able to leave this house to trade. I'm in a recliner right now and just like leaned all the way back, and wireless keyboard, wireless mouse. I'm just comfy as a mother. You're in the same trade with M&Q, 32 points. Let's go. Where's my thing at?
I might pump, but I don't dump.
Oh, and this one too. Little stop run action. I love that one. Yeah, so like I was saying, there's not really much resistance. They are trying to absorb a little bit here, but they're not really doing a great job. They're starting to stack buy stops. And I think that's going to be these T2 sellers trying to get out of the way. Go ahead and mark this level here. Just so we know where that high's at. That's kind of the next level up that they'll probably look for me at least. The 1 minute? The 1 minute for me is too emotional. I do like a 5-minute chart, and a 15-minute chart, but yeah, the 1 minute, and that's just for me. If it works for you, I say keep using it. But I do like that idea though, because you can see where the value is forming in every 30-minute period. So I do like that. And if it works, like I said, if it works for you, it works. And these are things like I'd love to get, like, you know, the strategies that you guys use, or nuances that you've, you know, added to your profiles to include in the course, right? Because just because it works for me is not necessarily going to be the same exact way it works for you. You know what I mean? And if you guys, the same thing, vice versa. So if we get new members and they're struggling, or they're having, you know, issues, that's why we try to make this more of a collective than like a follow the leader situation. I mean, shit, one time when my dad was over at my house, I got into I think it was a short, or maybe it was a long, when he got into a short, and I just got smacked. You know? You deleted your coin flipping strategy? Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea to get rid of that. What's the deal? We've got that weak spot at that 13 level, right? That's where that seller was sitting, so we cleaned it out. And well, the market cleaned it out, and let's see if we get this continuation. Still 16 minutes until the next period opens up. Decent sized sell order right there on the 1550, 120 lots. It did work about half the time. Dude, you wanna hear a study about the coin flipping thing? I was reading a book on what's this book called? The book was called The Biggest Bluff by Maria Konnikova. If I'm butchering her name, I'm sorry, but she talks about how, like, the flipping of the coin thing, you know, like the probabilities and the odds, like how they change with every single coin flip. It's crazy. You know, it's not 50-50 like you would just assume. And there's, you know, professional gamblers that gain an edge based off of how people are flipping, you know, the temperature, the, you know, the wind in the air, the overall feeling of the room. Like, I mean, there's so many things. No. I mean, at least she backed it up in the book with scientific evidence. I'll be honest, I didn't do any back looking into it. I just kind of took it at face value, and it just made sense.
Yeah,
What's
when
that?
you go to Vegas and you roulette table, you know, in the black and red, it's always, you know, 49.51, 49.51, you know.
Yeah.
It seems like it could be anything, but it's always 49.51, or 50-50. It's kind of weird. there's some science behind it for sure. You ever play roulette?
I love roulette. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's like the game that I play when I go to the casino. Yeah.
You notice how the red and black are always 50-50?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're about. I think they're like because the zero and the double zero. That's what gives the casino the real edge.
Yeah, yeah.
I like roulette because, you know, if you can find a cheap table, you can sit down with $100 and you can play for an hour. You might lose all your chips, but you get to have some fun for an hour. You know, to me, that's worth it. Sometimes.
The roulette computer sucks.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I like a nice table too. Yeah, especially if everyone's like friendly and joking around and stuff. Yeah, it's fun. Rishi Sunak, I'm standing to be the next leader of the Conservative Party and your prime minister. Let's restore trust, rebuild the economy, and reunite the country. That must be for the UK. And someone said, lend us a tenner, mate.
I never understood why card counting is illegal. You know, to me, if you're pushing your head, it should be, you know.
Well, technically, it's not illegal. It's just frowned upon. But, you know, how casinos are so juiced in that, you know, they'll just take you to a room. There it goes. Sorry guys, dog just he fucking hates the FedEx guy and all people that come to the door that aren't his people. Oh, it came? Oh no, that's probably my stuff. Or is it in the frozen box? Oh, nice. Well, that was quick then. Yeah, he's a pretty big dog. Like 120-pound German Shepherd. He's a monster. Name's Warden. A little absorption up here again at the top. These sellers are trying to hold, but not really doing a great job. 6 minutes until the next period opens up. ENI's request for gas delivery from a Russian provider has been partially confirmed for July 9th. ENI on the GME platform. Oh, is it? Yeah, little yappy dog. Yeah, that's annoying. Nasdaq's breaking out here. All of our energy, or all of our sectors pretty much flip back except energy, utilities, and materials. The breath isn't really picking up on the NYSE here, though. Nasdaq is kind of picking up. Close one contract 30 points, letting the other one run. Nice, nice. It's a big dog called Barney with a little wimpy bark. Oh, that's even worse. So break above these single prints, right? So this is where these single prints were at. Break above that position. Probably take us up to that previous day's high. 3 minutes left until each session opens up. 12, 12, 4, 6. There goes that break. Look for that 30, 32-ish area. What are you looking for? 12, 246? Yeah, that prior high right there. Nasdaq might even get above that. You might even see 12.5 here on the Nasdaq if you get that continuation.
Gordon, knock it off. Not kidding. Not going.
Offer level is at 2150 here. Good. Here we go. Here's E period. That was the euro close right there. So if we think maybe euro was short all night, they might get a little bit of a push down here. We do have single prints or one-time framing to the upside, so nothing's really telling us to get short, but we always want to maintain perspective and understand that, you know, as euro closes all their positions, if they were short all night, they might have to and they already got corrected, that they might start selling those positions, especially going into a Friday. Let me take a peek at the volume as well. Volume was 11% less than yesterday during that last session, so it's still pretty light. Or 21.5 is that pre-offer position. So look for sellers to try to come in that 21.5. If they're not coming in, we're looking up here for 30-32 level. Still been able to trail this thing up. Pretty slow. Pretty slow. This is what we might just keep getting, honestly, for the rest of the day. Oh, what else is coming out on the docket today? Let me take a look. Our economic calendar. Russian CPI comes out here in 24 minutes. If I use the pivot indicator on Ninja, if you have, does it work and why does it actually work? The pivot indicator, so like you're talking about like daily pivot points. Is that what you're talking about, Otto? Yeah, I have used it. I actually have it on one of my charts. It's just to show you standard deviation moves. So it's just a math problem. If we Google pivot point calculation, pivot point calculation. So the pivot point is the previous high plus the previous low plus the previous close divided by 3. And then you have the S1, which is the pivot point times 2 minus the previous high. Then you have S2, which is the pivot minus the previous high minus the previous, or times negative previous high, previous low. It's just based off of math, really. So it's like it's just to show standard deviations, really. And but like big institutions and stuff will use it for risk management, right? Because they're allowed to they're allowed to risk X versus standard deviation, blah blah blah. I just like the R3 and the S3. That just lets you know that the market is just way overextended, or way overextended to either direction, right? If it's close to its R3, like today's R3 is all the way up at 40.13, and that just lets you know, like, that's a 3 standard deviation move, and that's a fairly big move. So a lot of times after a 3 standard deviation move, you're going to get some pullback. The S3 is down at 37.68. So if it got all the way down there, right, that's a 3 standard deviation move to the downside. Lets you know that the market might be getting a little bit too short. Not necessarily saying that it's going to, but that's just something that I actually got it from Peter.
Is that different than RSI?
RSI. Yeah, it's different because it's based off the previous day's high and low and close. Have you ever heard of the Myers-Briggs personality test? I found out about it a couple of months ago. It's strange how accurate mine is. It helped me in some ways illiterate my personal strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, I have heard of that Myers-Briggs personality test, and I heard that they were trying to start giving it out in high school to kids, which would be a great idea. Because we kind of trap our youth into these cookie cutter type atmospheres with this is how school goes and this is how that goes and blah blah blah, and if you want to be successful, then this is the way to do it. And I just kind of think that doing something like that would be beneficial, especially at youth or during youth, so you can really kind of just hone in on what your strengths and weaknesses are. I've never taken it. Maybe I should. We had to take a bunch of personality tests and like see a psychotherapist before we went on recruiting to make sure that we weren't like crazy. Yeah, a lot of times with that test, I was reading that a lot of people that calculate themselves as extroverts or introverts find out that they're actually the opposite, according to the test. There are introverted thinkers that are extroverted socially and vice versa. That's pretty cool. Where did you take the test at? It'd be interesting to take. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. We're right here at this previous day's high. If we're going to get any continuation to the upside off that poor high, we need to get back above this high and keep pushing. Sellers trying to hold down price right here. The buyers need to get above this 16 if they want to get any more continuation to the upside. If not, you're seeing these sellers kind of try to move down and hold the 16 down. New York Fed's Williams, still a lot of supply chain and other issues that need to be worked out through the inflation fight. Be slow here. Watch for them to clean up this D low if they keep getting this push back down. They've got to get through a little bit of liquidity sitting around the 10 here, but If they're able to get through that, they should look to clean up this D low at 8/4. Yeah, I could take a look at BTC for sure. All right, Peter, you have a good weekend as well. Catch you Monday. Yeah, so Bitcoin yesterday actually worked out how we were looking for it to work out. It was able to break up into this balance area here, able to get above. We saw a little bit of a pullback here, and that's kind of where it pulled back to this morning. It's coming back up to the top. As it's getting a continuation here, I guess we need to get some more levels going. So what we're looking at here is we're pressing up against this top of balance. So we can see it wasn't able to get the support that it needed. It came back down into balance, but now it's popped back up above. So if we can hold this level again, we could even kind of duplicate this this level here, and we'll be looking for them to really hold above or within this area in order to get that continuation to the upside. We would want to see the market start to go, keep going green, but the market seems to be pulling back a bit here. Kind of think we're gonna rotate back into balance. And really, we just have to watch these highs. Yeah, so this 21,419 level, that's going to be the key level too if it holds. No sell stops come out. Market's kind of turning down a little bit here, guys. There's the cleanup of that D low. All right, it's kind of what we were expecting. Buyers need to get above the 10 now. So they came down to the 10. The liquidity was on the 10. You got big sellers sitting through that 10. But it looks like you had some people start to short cover here on the 8.5. So now we've got two levels ahead of us, right? We've got that 10 and that 16 level above. That if buyers want to get continuation to the upside, that's going to be the areas that they're going to need to target and hold above. Yeah, of course, Mark. So coming back up to that 10, let's see if they reoffer. Yeah, so the NFP was positive. Well, actually, I haven't really looked at the numbers, but I think it was positive. I think I saw on Twitter that it was elevated. But we The market sold off of the positive news. So back above the 10, look for them to target up here to looks like the 14, 16-ish. Need to get above the 16 if they want to get continuation of that upside. I think most market participants or bigger market participants are waiting for that CPI next week on Wednesday for any real reactions. And that should be a pretty decent sized market mover. Watch this 12 quarter, 12 half here. Sellers are trying to come in here at 12 half.
Didn't they just do CPI? How can they do CPI? Didn't they just do that like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we did it last month. It's every month. I'm still watching this 12 half here. Oh, excuse me.
I just don't understand why it moves the market so much when everybody knows it's BS. I mean,
Yeah. That's a good point.
so Rand just did their CPI was 42%.
42%. Damn. The Russian CPI comes out in about 4 minutes. See what they give.
You know, what if they're skewing that number? It could be even worse.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a charade. They're expecting 16% CPI year over year and -2 month over month. So here's that 12 quarter again. Let's see if these buyers are able to step up here. Should take the market up to the 16 level, and that would be an opportunity for the sellers to reoffer 16 to 17 quarter, it looks like.
you see the Japanese Prime Minister was just assassinated?
The old one? Yeah. I did see that.
No, the current one.
Was it the current one? Oh, maybe.
Oh no, he did put down 2020. Yeah, you're right.
Still a pretty significant event, though. They're assassinating older people that aren't even in power anymore. Can you imagine the outcry if someone assassinated Trump? It would just be insane. Look at the non-farm payrolls or private non-farm payrolls right here. Actual 381, forecast was 240, so they're up. Previous month was 336, so they're up from that. Unemployment rate stayed unchanged, 3.6%. And then yeah, non-farms were 272, expected 268, last month 384, so they're up from the projection but down from last month. So that's probably why you got that negative reaction during Globex to those non-farms. $18 seconds till the next period opens up. Let's see what we get. See what Russia comes out with their CPI. Five, four, three, two, one. If period opens up. Or should CPI still up? Pop it up. Let me see if it's on Twitter. Ford issues a recall for 100,000 vehicles for fire risks. Ford might come back down here a bit. All right, guys. Well, the market's getting pretty slow. I think I'm going to go ahead and head out. It is Friday. I've got a couple things to do. And then it's going to be a nice day here today, so we'll probably get some swimming in. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. Hopefully everyone had a good week. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a good weekend. I'll catch you all later. See you, Alex. Double R. See ya. See you, TJ. See you, Trin. See you, Pop. See you, Adam. See you, Kevin.